Can I have your attention, please?
Anna.
Good evening. We have come together this weekend to celebrate family. And what a joy it is to be together and to rekindle relationships, to build new bonds, and to just get to know that we are connected and that we are a family. We also want to take time to remember all those family members who are no longer with us. We celebrate all of them this weekend too. We have so many memories that we treasure because of them. We thank them for the good they shaped in us, and we thank them for the gift of themselves which enriches our lives. So if I begin with my grandparents, John and Lillian Dawson, there are 22 family members who are no longer here. As I say a few words about each, Chris will play quietly behind us. The children and some adults will bring up a luminary in remember of each person, and we will take a minute or two of quiet time at the end so that you can reflect on your own memories. We remember and are grateful to Granddad Dawson. His name is John, but people call him Jack. He died in 1964 at the age of 70. Grandma, Lillian, died in 1998 at the age of 79. How brave they were. Can you imagine? The year is 1929. They made the decision to leave their home in England to come to Canada with 5 children in tow, ages 8 to 2, and to settle on a homestead in Saskatchewan. This quote from Gail says it all. I can't for even a minute begin to imagine their lives in those days. The highs and the lows of life, the grind working through the 30s, the cold winters and the hot dry summers. I'm not sure I would have endured it through it all. Life was hard for them, but they persevered, built a new home and a new life for themselves. My childhood was full of fond memories of Sundays spent at Grandma and Granddad's, where the whole family would gather. The men outside in the living room, the women in the kitchen, and us kids having a grand time entertaining ourselves. I remember Uncle Doug on the accordion with Uncle Donnie on the guitar. Lots of laughs and always a hearty meal with tea and delicious desserts. We remember and we honor them first, because none of us would be here today if it wasn't for them. We also remember, this time I'll call on Colin and Alice and Ava and Megan to come forward. We also remember my mother Joyce, Grandma and Granddad Dawson's oldest daughter. She died in 1993 at the age of 72. She married Lawrence in 1940. He died in 1998 at the age of 91. Together, they worked extremely hard to make a living for us 4 children, Gerald, Diane, Glenn, and me. We enjoyed having company. Mom would always insist you stay for a cup of tea or a home-cooked meal, and who could ever forget all the Fentex slippers she knit. There were boxes of them in the basement which she sold for next to nothing. Dad could talk your ear off in French or English, and during hockey season, he was a strong supporter of his Montreal Canadiens. Now they have 12 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. They would be very proud of them all. We remember Aunt Jenny and Uncle Frenchie. They married in 1957. Ashley and Ron, please come forward. Aunt Jenny died in 2004 at the age of 82. Frenchie died in 1990 at the age of 72. Uncle Frenchie treasured his farm and loved his dogs and geese. His geese led a protected life. They were always allowed to die of old age. Aunt Jenny cared about family, and many of us would get a birthday card or maybe even a birthday cake from her come birthday time. Carol, being their only child, got their undivided attention. Aunt Jenny also loved to spoil her grandkids, Kathleen, Ron, and Lana, and great-grandchildren, Melissa, Connor, and Ashley. We remember Aunt Cynthia and Uncle Johnny, Shailene and Gary. Please come forward. They were married in 1951. There were many times when their family, friends, and neighbors turned to them for assistance, support, and advice. They were always ready to lend a helping hand. They also both enjoyed working with their cattle and horses. Aunt Cynthia died in 1988 at the age of 64. Uncle Johnny died a year later at the age of 73. They are remembered by their children, Joe, Geraldine, Georgina, Donna, Gary, 12 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. Cheryl and Evelyn, we remember Uncle Alwyn and Aunt Joan. They were married in 1953. Linda told me that Uncle Alwyn always remembered little Donnie running out to meet him when he returned home after fighting in World War II. He loved to entertain us kids. He could do some of the weirdest things, such as wiggle his eyebrows or the lobes of his ears. Aunt Joan could never resist laughing at his silliness. She was a knitter. I'm sure there are still many of her colorful Afghans out there. Uncle Alwyn died in 2004 at the age of 78. Aunt Joan died in 2014 at the age of 79. They are remembered by their son Dale and daughter Linda, 6 grandchildren, and 10 great-grandchildren. We remember Uncle Jim and Aunt Frances. Michaela and Brian, please come forward. They were married in 1952. They had 4 children, Janet, Mickey, Barry, and Brenda. They were very supportive of each other and their family. Uncle Jim loved life, and even though he spent his last years in a wheelchair, he was very active in the community, even served as Reeve of the Royal Municipality of 187 North Capel for many years. Aunt Frances loved cooking, crafts, gardening, and playing cards and board games with her grandchildren. They were both loved watching baseball and knew all the statistics on all the players. Uncle Jim died in 2002 at the age of 74. Aunt Frances died in 2005 at the age of 75. They now have 13 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. We remember Kathleen. Gail and a little one, please come forward. Kathleen was the youngest child of Grandma and Granddad Dawson. Kathleen lived with Grandma and Granddad until she was about 20. She was always part of our gatherings. She loved music and had a sweet tooth for chocolate and ice cream. In the early years, Joe and Carol benefited from her enjoyment of their giggling as she tried to rock each of them off the arms of her favorite rocking chair. She died in 1982 at the age of 39. We remember Ron, my husband and father of Grant, Brad, Lloyd, and Scott. Melanie, please come forward. He died in 2009 at the age of 70. Fortunately, he retired early from the military, so he got some time to enjoy his hobbies, of which there were many, but the most consistent ones were the gym, biking, curling, music, and even some art lessons. The day he retired, I was still working. He looked at me and said, "And don't expect me to do any cooking." I can't repeat my reply, but he actually turned into a great cook. Friends and family benefited from his fascination with meals from other cultures. India, China, Thailand, Cajun, French, you name it, he tried it. He was very proud of his sons and their wives and our 8 grandchildren. Evan and Ewan, please come forward. We remember Lily Marie Lompré, second daughter of my mom and dad. She died at birth in 1950. We remember Lance Thomas Lang, oldest child of Jean. Jean, please come forward. Jean is Len's wife, for those of you that don't know her. She died in 1983 at the age of 4 in a farming accident. Lance loved spending time with his grandparents and even called his pet kitten Grandma Lang. He also loved being outside and always made sure he was dirty before he came in the house. Being dirty was proof to him that he had been working. Lance is remembered by his mother and his sisters Kelly, Jessie, and Sandy and their families. We remember Brian Gibson. Tracy, please come forward. Aunt Cynthia and Uncle Johnny's second son. Brian is Aunt Cynthia and Uncle Johnny's second son. He died in a car accident in 1969 when he was 17. He was kind-hearted, outgoing, and a great big brother to his, very great good brother to his sisters. Aunt Marge remembers Brian as a tease and someone with a great sense of humor. Like his mom and dad, Brian enjoyed farm life and being around the animals. We remember Sharon Gibson. Joe, please come forward. Aunt Cynthia and Sharon was Aunt Cynthia and Uncle Johnny's 6th child. She died when she was 7 in the same car accident as Brian. She was always smiling and had an adventurous and bubbly personality. Both Brian and Sharon are remembered by many at the Dawson family, but particularly by their brothers and sisters. We remember Mark Weir. Donna, please come forward. Mark was Donna's husband and father to their 3 children, Dallas, Cody, and Courtney. He was a loving father and husband. He was always willing to help others. He worked hard and he had a great sense of humor. Mark died in 1995 when he was just 34. He would be proud of his 4 grandchildren, Alexis, Tucker, Mason, and Tenley. I maybe screwed up that name, sorry. We remember Karen Dawson. Cheryl, please come forward. Karen is the oldest daughter of Uncle Alwyn and Aunt Joan. Karen was very kind-hearted, and it was no surprise when she chose healthcare work as a career. She enjoyed working with the elderly. She also treasured her horse that she kept on Uncle Alwyn and Aunt Joan's farm. She died in 1994 at the age of 39. We remember Kelly LaRock. Kelly was Karen's husband. Evelyn, please come forward. They were married in 93. Sadly, their time together was very short. Kelly died shortly after Karen at the age of 39. We remember Diane Konechny. Would Kayla and Morgan please come forward? Diane was Nikki's wife and mother of Denise and Matthew. She loved to cook, but the outdoors was where she was most happy. She loved gardening, fishing, and camping. She would be proud of her 4 grandchildren, Michaela, Ethan, Morgan, and Kyla. She died in 2010 at the age of 51. Now, Chris will continue to play while we pause for 1 or 2 minutes to remember our loved ones, to cherish our memories of family, and to be aware of the strength and resilience that has been passed on to us from our grandparents, Jack and Lillian Dawson. Oh, Uncle Doug and Auntie Marge, I need you to come forward. I'm so sorry. I didn't tell you. They were to come forward for Grandma and Granddad Dawson. And when we've had our one moment of silence, Chris and Dena will sing the song Brothers by Peter Katz.
Brother I had watched. Well, I know, dear brother, that the sand it falls away into the hourglass with every passing day. We choose our own roads, but no matter what the cost, I stand before you saying no, nothing is lost.
You're reading it.
May have followed beating hearts and settled down. You may have built a life away in another town. The blood is thicker than the water in the ground. You are my brother, with my brother I'm found. I have that photo where I'm cradled in your arms. I'm still that boy now, offering shelter from the storm. Will I release you from your standing of the guard? I push your boat away, I know you will go far. They have followed beating hearts and settled down. They have built a life away in another town. Blood is thicker than the water in the ground. You are my brother. Lord, my brother, with my brother I'm found.
Please enjoy the evening.
Under the stars.